Hello, I'm Austin Heyman. Welcome to Seniors Today, a monthly program produced by the Commission on Aging and devoted entirely to issues and interests of Montgomery County seniors. This month we learn about Senior Leadership Montgomery, and perhaps the most important county government phone number for anyone having questions or needed services for a Montgomery County senior. But first, we remember Sergeant Shriver as the founder of the Peace Corps, ambassador to France, candidate for vice president and president, and much more. He was married to Eunice Kennedy Shriver, who created the Special Olympics, and they were our neighbors, living right here in Montgomery County, as does their son, Mark Shriver. Mark has written an insightful book about his father called A Good Man, Rediscovering My Father, Sergeant Shriver. And we're very pleased to welcome him to Seniors Today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Nice of you to be here.
Thank you.
Well, it's a great book. I enjoyed reading it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Tell me what you meant by saying that he was a good man.
You know, so many people said after he died that he was a great man for having created the Peace Corps, having expanded Special Olympics with my mom all over the world, having run President Johnson's War on Poverty, creating programs like Head Start, Legal Services for the Poor, Job Corps, Vista, foster grandparents. But what really got me were the comments of the two waitresses from his favorite restaurant who waited at the wake to tell me he was a good man and that they'd never met a more polite guy in their 26 years of service. The guy from the U.S. Air counter at National Airport who told me that some of his greatest moments of work were taking Dad through the security, and even though he was struggling with Alzheimer's, that Dad was a good man. The guy who picks up trash in our neighborhood said the same thing. Stopped his trash truck, wiped his hands on his shirt after he got out of the truck and said, your father was a good man. And I wanted to figure out how a guy could balance all these great things on the international and national stage, be happily married for 56 years, go to Mass every day of his life. Have
that
friends.
Was amazing. He found time for that.
He found time because it was an important piece of his life. Really, it was the foundation of his life, and he was good. And it was not just to the people that were on TV like you, but to the folks behind the cameras. And that's what I wanted to figure out, how he did that and did it with such joy.
What was it like growing up with parents so prominent in life?
You know, they never said that they were prominent. They never made you feel like they were prominent. I talked to a couple of folks just this morning over here in the studio who said that Dad treated their kids just like they did, just like he treated U.S. senators or cardinals or presidents. So I think, I never knew any different because my folks were, active, fun. They asked you to get involved and to get engaged, but they never put pressure on us to do one thing or the other. They just supported us really with unconditional love, and that's a powerful thing for a kid.
But you did write something about the absurd strain of growing up in the Kennedy family.
Well, there's definitely, you realize that there's an election almost every 2 years.
Right.
My uncle was running for president or vice president, my dad or senator, so there's a lot of that pressure going on. But the bottom line is that my folks, gave that unconditional love and support. When we made mistakes, and all kids do, it wasn't about how it impacted their career or their public image. It was more about supporting us as kids.
Well, you mentioned in the book one of the mistakes that your brother made about the marijuana story. Tell that story.
Well, my brother Bobby was busted for smoking pot in 1970, and Uncle Bobby had just died a couple of months earlier. And Dad was thinking about running maybe for governor of Maryland or maybe vice president. Teddy was thinking of running for president, Uncle Teddy. And he was, had long hair and got his hair cut immediately. And my father was out of town, came into town and said, you come down to his room. And he said, my brother said it was a long walk down the hallway. But he said, Dad said, look, sit on the bed. You're a good kid, he said to him. I love you. You got to take accountability for this, but it's going to be fine. You're a good kid. Don't listen to anybody else. And I think that's really powerful. As when I was in politics, if I was thinking of running for governor and my kid got busted for pot,
the normal reaction is to be angry.
Angry, and I think a lot of men think they have to yell at their kids punish them or boss their family around. And my father thought that was really important was that the kid did well and realized that he was loved, and that really made a difference in Bobby's life.
Now, your father wrote lots of notes. I was struck by the fact that you said he wrote them by hand, and I think there's one that you put in the book.
Yes. So this is a note that I had forgotten about, and you're absolutely right. He would write letters. Some of them were handwritten. Some of them were slipped under my door at night when I was in high school or when I came home from college.
That's
Some were in the
unusual.
mail. It was about everything. You know, it could be about a book by Elie Wiesel. It could be about an article on the Baltimore Orioles. And this one, he slipped under on graduation day from high school, and it just said, "Happy graduation day, Mark, and congratulations. Always remember numero uno, that you are a unique, infinitely valuable person. Your mother and I love you, so do your brothers and sisters and friends. But all of our love and interest put together cannot compare with the passion and interest and love God himself showers on you. You are his. He wants you, and he will make you the perfect man you want to be. Love, Daddy." You know, I was touched, Austin, that he wasn't saying work hard, go to college, work hard, and your dreams will come true, you'll make lots of money. He was saying what's important in life is your relationship with God and the fact that love is, God loves you. And I think that's a really powerful thing for an 18-year-old kid to get. It's also powerful for a father who's trying to raise 3 kids with a wife and, you know, later in life. So I think the written word, and even when your parents die, you can still communicate with them through reading and rereading these notes, especially ones that are written in longhand.
That's very unusual.
It's really powerful.
So your own career, tell us a little bit about that. You I think we all know you became a delegate.
I was in the Maryland legislature for 8 years. I now work at Save the Children. I run their U.S. programs. We work in over 200 schools around the country, making sure that young kids are entering kindergarten ready to learn and are doing well academically, first, second, and third grades. It's a great organization, Save the Children.
Was it difficult for you to decide? I mean, you didn't go in. You didn't go into the. Did you go into the Peace Corps?
I did not, and I actually wrote that in the book.
Yeah.
You might recall. I was signed up to go in the Peace Corps, and then got cold feet, frankly. And the conversation I had with my dad when I decided to drop out was a really important, profound moment in my life. He didn't yell and say, "God, you're the first member of the family to sign up," publicly say it, and then back out. This is an embarrassment. He wanted to encourage me to do work for the community and to do what I really cared about, and help me try to see my options here in Maryland. I ended up working in Baltimore for 7 years running a program for juvenile delinquent kids.
So that sort of leaped out at you, working with kids early on.
I worked with kids when I was in college. My brother had worked in an Upward Bound program in Hartford and New Haven public school systems, and I did that for summer jobs. And I just enjoyed it. I mean, look, there's nothing better than you can go to work and try to help kids do better and help families that are struggling, families living in poverty. And here's an opportunity to do that. And it's entrepreneurial, it's exciting, I'm running a business, but the business is helping kids, and there's nothing better.
You also write about the difficult, I guess you call it the long goodbye. Your father had Alzheimer's.
Yes.
That must have been a very difficult period.
You know, he got diagnosed about 10 years before he died, and as a doctor said to my sister Maria, once you've seen one case of Alzheimer's, you've seen one case of Alzheimer's. So it's different for everyone. It's brutally tough emotionally, and financially it's a strain on millions of families around the world. And our family's no different. You know, my father faded away over the course of those 10 years, but there were still moments of great insight and teaching that he gave me. I remember being stopped on the corner of Bradley Boulevard, River Road and Bradley and Seven Locks, going over to our house, and I said to Dad, I thought he was clear-headed about 5 years before he died, I said, you know, Dad, you're losing your mind. How does it make you feel? And right at that red light, he turned to me and said, I'm doing the best I can with what God has given me. And I sat back after, as I was writing the book, and just reflected on that. And I think he did the best he could, whether he was surviving the Depression, fighting in World War II, creating the Peace Corps, in moments of great happiness and in great sadness. That faith was really the foundation for his life, and that was an important thing to learn, even in the midst of the pain and suffering of Alzheimer's.
There's a passage of this book that I found very moving. I guess it's towards the end of the book. And maybe you'd share that with...
Sure. So this is at the end when my kids and I had gone on a trip, and I had screwed it up. You know, my father was he was just in the moment, and he always loved and supported us in the moment, and I got agitated on a trip up to see actually the Shriver homestead up in Carroll County. And I wrote, I wish I could have just one more conversation with you, ask you how you did it all, how you were so alive, so joyful, yet so looking forward to meeting God, so happy during your time on earth, and so zealous for the life after. Is it really that hard, Dad? Does a husband, a father today have more expectations on the home front than you did. Is that the reason that it's so hard, or do I just complicate life by adding too much to my plate and end up losing track of it all? But I can't call you, I can't speak with you. All I have left are your stories, your letters, your speeches. And I think, I'm still gleaning stuff from his speeches and from the letters he wrote on a daily basis. And I think, people say, oh, I wish I could have that conversation as I wrote here, but my father or mother has passed away. But you can, I think, still have that conversation if you can go back and reflect on what you learned from them, those conversations at the stoplight or the letters they wrote. And I think it's a really powerful thing. And I think it's important, particularly for men that are under a lot of pressure, as are women. But for men, the way Dad acted, which was to love unconditionally and to forgive your kids and to support your wife. My mother creating Special Olympics right in Rockville, Maryland. Yeah. It's a crazy idea in the mid-'60s, but it's changed the world. Yeah. And my father supported my mother unconditionally and supported and loved all his kids. I think that's a powerful thing, and I learned that through these letters and hopefully through the book. And I hope the book will help people as they are balancing, as my wife Jeannie and I are balancing these.
I was going to say that today, families have challenges about two people working, the kids, and this is what your parents did, and so well. It's challenging for us today to do that.
It is. There's no question about it. And you have these different competing demands: young kids, aging in-laws, aging parents, trying to do work, trying to make a difference in your community. And Dad did it exceedingly well, and that's why I wrote the book. How did he do it, and how did he balance it and do it with such joy? And that's really what the book is about. It's a son trying to understand his father better.
I noticed at the end of the book that you referred to your daughter Molly.
Yes.
She said one day she was going to write a book. The title of the book?
Yes. She said to me, yes, Dad, I'm going to write a book about you one day. And I said, really? What are you going to call it? And she said, "And okay, Dad."
I thought that was great. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a great book.
Appreciate it.
Nice of you to be here.
Thanks, man. It's great to be with you. Thank you.
When we come back, we'll tell you about a program whose graduates are some of the most active community leaders here in the county. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls: 311. MC 311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
If it wasn't for his doctor, he wouldn't be here.
If it weren't for Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, he wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for the phone call, we wouldn't have been there.
If I didn't call, I don't know where we would be.
Montgomery County emergency responders are there when you need help at no cost to you. In an emergency, don't ever hesitate to call 911. If you live in Montgomery County, you will never get a bill or pay a dime.
So if you have an emergency, call us. We're there for you.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. Each year, Leadership Montgomery takes a diverse group of community leaders and activists and offers them programs and activities to strengthen their knowledge, awareness, and relationships with other county leaders. And about 10 years ago, a special senior program was established for those over the age of 55. And joining me to tell us more are Dr. Ellie Giles, a member of the Montgomery County Business Development Corporation and a graduate of the Senior Leadership Class of 2010, and Reemberto Rodriguez, the director of the county's Silver Spring Regional Services Center and a graduate of the class of 2013, soon to be graduate. So what is this Senior Leadership Montgomery? Tell us about it.
Senior Leadership Montgomery is an opportunity for seniors to learn more about Montgomery County beyond just the services that they might be accessing, but all of the multitude of services that Montgomery County has, and a chance to be more engaged in our county. So we visit everything from entertainment to recreation to nonprofit services, police department,
Wow.
The realm of services in the municipal kinds of things that
So
they have.
it meets once a month? Is
It meets once a month.
Okay.
We work with a phenomenally diverse group of people in our group, and it gives us a chance also to connect with other seniors in the county, all of which have the motivation to give back to the county.
And you're currently in the class.
Yes, and
how's it going?
It's going great. It's a wonderful class. We have a couple of more times to meet, and what we've done, as Ali was saying, is it's really fantastic to visit places like you would never visit. Like, where does your trash go? And we actually went to that part. We on a police ride along to understand what our police force goes through on a day-to-day basis. So it's a magnificent experience.
So let me ask you, Reemberto, you run the Silver Spring Center. So what motivated you to?
Well, I as a regional center, my life is consumed with parochial Silver Spring. And so the opportunity to learn much more about north of the Beltway, if you will, is simply fantastic, and learned I have. And the experience of what other class members have shared and how they really bring a tremendous value to the experience of Leadership Montgomery.
And Ellie, what motivated you to sign up?
I retired from the school system as an administrator with Montgomery County Public Schools, and I was looking for my next adventure. And so I joined Leadership Montgomery, and again also did all of the fun things to ride along with the police. Our top-notch thing is the airplane. You get to go up in the traffic airplane.
Wow.
It's very fun, and really started to learn more and more. Everywhere we went, it was just extremely exciting, and you're going, okay, I'm ready to jump in and do something new. So it gave me those avenues to look into my next venture.
So there's a cost involved?
Yes, there is a cost involved, but the cost should not be something that people should be looking at, because there are scholarships. The initial fee is $500 with support if you need it. So that shouldn't be something that.
And so they're now getting recruiting for the next falls. It starts in the fall, but there's a recruiting session is in the spring.
Yes, actually, next March 11th at 4 o'clock, I believe, at the Silver Spring Civic Building. There will be an event for folks that are interested in it.
Now, people can go on. There's a website.
Yes. Let me read that. It's a really easy website: www.leadershipmontgomerymd.org, or you can call 301-881-3333.
Now, one of the aspects of the program I understand is that you do a project. You were 2010. What project did you do?
Our project was to take a look at communities in mostly the Long Branch, Silver Spring area that were not accessing services that they were entitled to. Just because they were within that niche, they weren't comfortable going out, so we brought services to them by eliciting community agencies and civic agencies within there, whether it's the church or the community centers, and organized to bring the services to them so that they would feel more comfortable accessing what they were entitled to have in Montgomery County.
Is this particularly for seniors or
no, just for the regional area. And the other part of the project is that it totally gels your class. So you're working as a team on that. And so consequently, you're not just a member of a class for 1 year. You're a member of a class for a lifetime.
So you get together.
We get together, we enjoy each other.
Alumni association.
And not only is it our class, but also Leadership Montgomery is a family. So whether you're in the senior section or the core section or the executive section, where you go, if someone goes, "Will you Leadership Montgomery?" There's an instant kinship there. So it's
Do you have
wonderful.
a project yet?
Yes, actually, interestingly enough, also in Silver Spring, working with Community Visions, an organization that works with the homeless. And so, but you're absolutely right. I mean, we've met at team members' houses to plan this project, and we'll get together and talk it through, and really click. And what's just been to me really amazing is the how diverse, if you will, the participants of the leadership group.
It sounds like you like your classmates, and
absolutely.
part of it it as a networking thing.
Absolutely.
One of the advantages of senior over any other is that a lot of our seniors have been in the county a long time. And what I found when we were doing our project, how many resources my own class had. How many people knew people in the county to bring our resources together. It was wonderful.
It's a great opportunity for figuring out also what next.
Right. It's fantastic for that, yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in and sharing. It sounds like a great program.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having us.
When we return, we'll conclude today's show with a conversation about one of the most important numbers you need to know if you or a loved one needs senior services from the county. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
There's a reason why area law enforcement are out enforcing pedestrian and traffic safety laws and preventing killer pedestrian crashes. Be alert. Be street smart.
Have you ever parked illegally in a reserved, accessible parking space?
And thought, what's the harm? I'm only going to be a minute.
We know how important it is to have reserved parking.
And the adjacent striped access aisles provide necessary space needed for assistance devices like my wheelchair and my service dog.
Respect the need for reserved parking and the laws that govern its use.
On behalf of everyone with accessible plates and placards,
we are asking you
to respect the space.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes. Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics, such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups. We're in! For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. Every month we conclude our show by mentioning the county's Senior Resource Telephone Line. But what is it exactly, and who are the people answering our questions? Well, joining me to tell us is Jennifer Long, the Program Manager of the Aging and Disability Resource Unit, the ADRU, and the group who run the Resource Line. Well, welcome back to Seniors Today.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Well, this is a question we always get, we didn't know about this, and you're the place to call.
Right, and that's why I'm here, because unfortunately not everybody does know about us.
So what are the most common issues that come up? What are the questions that people ask the most of?
We certainly get all kinds of calls, but frequent calls are people inquiring about financial benefits they might be eligible for. Someone with a disability who can no longer work and wants to know what their options are. Unfortunately, we certainly get calls about adult protective services and have to refer those to the clinical screening unit. Transportation issues, prescription help, Medicare D.
There's so much.
Yeah, that's just a small snippet of.
So how does the staff deal with all those?
Very carefully. We're trained, of course. We train each other. We get a lot of on-the-job training. We learn from the calls. We learn from the community, other resources. We go to trainings.
But some have to be referred, I assume.
Right. We might have to refer to the other clinical screening unit I mentioned for other A&D services, aging and disability services. Sorry, we use a lot of abbreviations and acronyms. But we also refer out to the community, fee-for-service, nonprofits. But a lot of what we do is handling it ourselves, helping the senior or the client apply for the benefits we've told them about if they actually need that hands-on assistance and that follow-through.
That's terrific. Well, so what are the hours that the people can call?
8:30 to 5 on Monday and Friday, and then until 7:30 in the evening on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
And well, we give the number at the end.
Yes, 240-777-3000. It's a fairly easy number to remember.
That's the one we give at the end of the show.
Yes, we appreciate that.
So how many staff do you have on your team?
I have 8 client assistant specialists that answer the phones. We have a rotating schedule. Some are on phones all the time to make sure there's adequate coverage, and then some are out at senior centers or making home visits or doing other community things like giving presentations or staffing health fairs and different events.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you actually go out to the community?
We certainly do. We can make the home visits. We go to senior centers. Certain centers we go to on a very scheduled, regular basis.
Like where?
Damascus, Gaithersburg, Margaret Schweinhut, Long Branch, Holiday Park.
So you go there periodically?
Yes, there's a schedule. A couple of them it's maybe once a week, a couple of them maybe just once a month. But we could also meet a senior at a center that maybe we don't regularly go to, but if there are transportation issues or they already attend that center, we could certainly go out there. We could go out and speak to a group of seniors and tell them about our services.
Have there been any of these sessions in libraries?
Yes, we've done some at the Davis Library, maybe a couple other libraries.
Because the libraries are becoming more like a community center.
Right, and certainly churches, civic associations.
So a church could call up and say, we would like to have somebody come and talk
to our group, right, yeah.
Oh, that's terrific.
And weekday presentations are always a little easier to staff during regular business hours, yes.
Now, I mean, do you also have any printed materials?
Sure. We refer to a lot of the literature ourselves, and then we also share it. The Seniors Resource Guide, put out by the Beacon newspapers, the Guide to Retirement Living. We have the Living and Thriving publication, Vital Living for Senior over 50, the Navigator for people over 50. So we get the Living and Thriving, Vital.
So and a lot of these materials are also in the libraries.
Correct. Yes, and at CVS, the Seniors Resource Guide. Really? That's very widely distributed throughout the county. And our number is on the bottom of each page. So we really are trying to get the word out.
So they can find these in various places, but they could also
call
us. The office and
ask.
Yes,
of course, we can send them to them.
Now, there's something called a senior listserv. What's that?
Right. Well, the county has many listservs. So we call it e-subscription. If you go to the county website, www.montgomerycountymd.gov, and click on e-subscription on the right-hand side, you can go and see there's quite a list, other departments in the county.
Right?
But under Health and Human Services, if you clicked on Senior News, you could be added to our listserv. You can create or update an account.
Yeah, actually, I get it. It's terrific.
Great.
It's very helpful.
Good. It's supposed to be.
So, are there questions that are particularly difficult to answer?
When there aren't a lot of resources available, or sort of a sad situation, and just hearing, people's circumstances.
So you're probably good listeners.
Yes, we have to be. Yes, and a lot of times people are so happy to get a live voice that they
this
just start
world,
in and tell their story.
It's wonderful that you do. So it's a real service for the community.
I mean, if everybody's already on the phone, they might get a greeting that says you have to wait. You can either leave a message and we'll call you back, or you have to wait for the next operator. But yes, we do try to answer the phone.
Wonderful service.
Right.
Well, thanks for coming in today.
Can I mention one more thing about an older safety driving event in Gaithersburg?
Right, we're just about out of time.
May 19th. More information to come.
May 19th.
Yes, to keep seniors driving longer.
Terrific.
Okay.
Thanks, Jennifer. Don't forget that you can access a great deal of information about county services for seniors by going to the Montgomery County Senior website at www.montgomerycountymd.gov/seniors. Or call the Senior Resource Line that we were just talking about at 240-777-3000. Also, we have a new email address that you can use to send us comments or suggestions for future topics on our show. It's SeniorsToday@montgomerycountymd.gov. And as always, thank you for watching Seniors Today.
Serving your community is a great feeling. The Montgomery County Volunteer Center can connect you to hundreds of volunteer opportunities available throughout the area. Are you a student, senior, professional, community group, or business looking to serve? Simply visit our website to select what's right for you and get great ideas from past projects with our volunteer toolkits, or share a success story of your own. The Montgomery County Volunteer Center. Make an impact in your community. Where will you serve?